apologies. I believe I may have started the stream prematurely there. Well, I got a story for y'all. If I can tell it. See that fella rolling out of the truck stop. The map says, excuse me, the GPS says Hope, Arkansas, but this is Prescott. I'm from Arkansas. So there's at least the Prescott exit. Let's go drag racing. Give me just a minute. We'll get out of here and get on the road, and I'll tell y'all what I have to tell you. It's I think you're going to find it interesting. And I got no beef with foreigners, by the way, unless they make beef. It's like don't start none, won't be none. And that got me to thinking. This story I'm going to tell you got me to thinking about how it seems to me like MAGA and Trump and people who believe they have traditional American values, who believe they do, they want Trump, this is my opinion, they want Trump and the government to be their asshole, which means to go out and be jerks on their behalf. They said, what do you mean be a jerk? Well, I mean, that's the perception, is if a person is standing up for themselves and, telling other people, well, you can't park here, in this case, that's not a parking spot, right? I'm in a parking spot. You're not in a parking spot. Not you, the listener, but let's back up. So if I'm telling somebody that, see, look at this. This is where I was parked at, and they already come back and blocked it, where this guy with his lights on is. So I guess somebody already got the spot I pulled out of. So all these trucks over here, they all got me blocked in. See, when I woke up this morning. So instead of doing a proper trip plan and doing everything correctly, what they done is they just run, and this is a lot of these is the people that just run illegal, meaning they run outside of the hours of service with no trip plan, and then once they can't drive no more, oh, where's the truck stop? Oh, pull in there. Well, just park wherever. They make their own spot. Now, until somebody's blocking me, I don't give a fuck what they do. But if I wake up at 11:30 and I look out my curtains and, oh wait, they got me blocked in, I'm knocking on trucks. And I should never have to knock on a truck, see? Now, some of these loves, this is a love, some of these loves, the staff will go out there and make them move. But this ain't one of them. And the first truck, they was too deep, by the way. They were parked even deeper than what I showed you. There was another layer on top of them. It was actually too deep. The first one, to his credit, just fucking left, which is what I would do if, for some insane reason, well, and with my hypervigilance and with the undiagnosed fake autism. Can I get an audio check? I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. Let me know. Let me know if my audio is coming through. I understand it's loud because I'm driving a big rig. If you would. If anybody's out there, I wouldn't want to just be yelling into the ether. All right, thank you, Mr. Skellington. So the first truck, who might have actually been a white person, not that it matters, but it might have been a white American, or black, it's the same thing as far as, general American behavior, but, a native-born American, potentially. And that's what I would do if for some insane reason I blocked people in, and then somebody woke me up knocking on my truck and said, hey, that's not a parking spot, you gotta move, which is what I said. And, well, actually, first he tried to say some stuff. He tried to talk over me, now that I think about it, so I shouldn't give him any credit. But see, I turned the other cheek, and this is where something else that happens to Americans is they've allowed themselves, the Christians, the MAGA, all of these folks, now they will strut around and act like tough guys, but they're pussies. And I know they're pussies because during the fake pandemic, I used to go up to big, strong, tough-looking MAGA types and just dress them down for not doing anything about the mask and all this. See? I used to do that. And nobody did nothing to me. See? I know what they are. They're a bunch of pushovers. And that's why, and again, I'm not speaking on my behalf. I'm observing and reporting. So if people believe that the country's been sold out, and again, this is not my thought process. I'm hearing rhetoric and I'm reporting on it. Right? I'm reporting on rhetoric, and we'll see. The problem is for them is instead of them going out here and being an asshole on their own behalf, which is what I did, knocking on a truck, and arguably being somewhat of a jerk to people. Well, see, what if they record me and put me on social media? See, and we know that's the motivation. That's going to keep in line. We might end up on a subreddit, public freakouts, right? I don't give a fuck about that. See, I don't live my life based on how things appear to the people around me. See, when I'm righteous, I should say. So the first guy, he actually tried to talk over me, and I'm basically like, "You're not in a parking spot. Move." But remember, I've lost my rage. In the past, I could have just tapped into my rage and my wrath. That wicked spirit of wrath could come to the surface and feed, and my anger could just, overtake the situation. Right? Well, I don't have that no more. So I'm left to work in other ways. Okay. But back to the turning of the cheek. See, a lot of people think that means that you just gotta let them sleep there, right? And then wait until I'm about to leave. But here's the thing is, I'm only one spot, right? So I don't have enough parking spots for everybody to park anyway, right? So they gotta go somewhere else. Now, the fact is, I wasn't leaving for over an hour. What's that got to do with anything? This when they want to start, asking questions and this. I said, no, man. I said, you got to move. You're not in a spot. I said, I'm in a parking spot. You're blocking my parking spot. That's my parking spot. And this is where people have not been trained properly. They haven't grabbed their nuts, right? Now, if it was all lady truckers, I promise you it wouldn't be like this. You think a lady trucker's going to let that happen? And it's all lady truckers. They can't go out and act a fool like that because of their safety, right? Meanwhile, there's women bigger and stronger than me, I'm sure. There's got to be. Not many, but there's got to be some. I don't know who's packing weapons. It don't matter. I'm righteous. Davy Crockett, who I'm supposedly descended from. First, make sure you're right, then go ahead. See, Republicans and MAGA don't practice that. If they did, there wouldn't be nothing to say, oh, well, the Democrats caused all that. The Democrats let the people come in and start driving trucks and block Benton in at the truck stop. No, they didn't. The people let it happen. The people, because they've been indoctrinated and brainwashed not to be assholes and jerks publicly, right? They just let things happen. See, I don't let things happen. See? So turning of the cheek is the part where I don't punish them for their transgression of blocking my parking spot. See? That's the difference. So when I knock on the door of the truck, I'm not going to do nothing to these people. I'm not going to beat them up. I'm not going to damage their rig. I'm not going to inflict revenge upon them, see? I'm not going to do nothing to them. Stay in your lane, then. So that's the turning of the cheek, is the part where they've transgressed and I forgive the first transgression. So now I'm knocking and I'm alerting them to, hey, you must move your truck. So now if they do anything other than, and again, if people are in a deep sleep, yeah, give them 5-10 minutes. That's reasonable. So when the guy was trying to talk over me, the first guy, I'm just in my mind, it's like, well, he just woke up. He doesn't even know what the fuck's happening, right? That's fine. I can't hear him anyway. Everybody's truck's running. But see, I've done already forgave. That's what turning of the cheek is. Turning of the cheek is they slap my cheek when they block me in. And the turning of the cheek is where you then I present the other cheek. So if they strike this cheek, I don't have another cheek to turn. See, that's a very misunderstood part of the Bible, the turning of the other cheek. It's one cheek. They slap my left cheek and I show them my right cheek. If they slap the right cheek, I'm out of cheeks, partner. That's what that means. Forgive the first transgression. So we're already into one transgression. So the first guy leaves. Now there's another guy in the way. He's got him, but he backs up. So he's barely blocking me. And then there was a hot shot who may or may not have been in my way. A little pickup truck towing a long trailer, you know, but not a full-size big rig. And I guess he figured out that this probably wasn't going to go too well, and he left. Some people are smart, man. When I see danger, you know, maybe some shit's about to go down, I get the fuck out of there, right? If it doesn't pertain to me, I'm out. The second other guy backs up out of my way. What ends up being out of the way? And then I knock on the next truck, and it's a foreigner. Again, I'm not concerned about the part where people are from other lands. That's fine. I don't give a fuck. But again, yeah, I understand you don't speak English. Move your truck. You're parked in my space. You're blocking my space, rather. I'm in a space. You're not in a space, sir. This is obvious to anybody. You see them yellow lines over there? That denotes something specific. You see there's no lines where you are? That means this is not a parking spot, sir. But then now he wants to know, basically, like, which is, you know, and he doesn't speak English, but he wants to know, like, where my truck, he's looking around, wants to know where my truck is, because I guess in his mind, he's just going to take my part, he's going to slide into the spot I just left, right? Oh, I done fucked up. Forgot to put the lid on the coffee. That's a critical error in judgment. Thankfully, it did not spill. Meanwhile, you know, all Benton's trying to do is make his fucking eggs. It's supposed to be egg time, all this going on. It's supposed to be. So I go back to my truck. I don't know what he does, so I go back and knock again. I think I had to come back like 2 or 3 times. So finally he realizes it. But now he's trying to act like he don't have enough room to get out of there. He's got enough room. So now he's trying to act like he can't back up far enough to get, yeah, he can get out, because he got out later. Later on, he just drove right out of there. So I pull up and almost block that side of the truck stop. I just pull forward, because remember, I can't get out of my space to leave. So I pull forward, and then I leave just enough space. If another big rig comes around the corner and wants to squeeze through there, they can squeeze through there. But remember, so now people might try to say I'm the asshole. No, I'm not the asshole. That's the asshole blocking my truck. See, and this is what stops a lot of people from defending their territory. That's all I'm doing is, it's my territory. I will not let other people have it. Now, while I'm asleep, and again, this is something about watchfulness probably from the Bible and other texts. While I'm asleep and I don't have anybody to be on the watch for me, that's different. Once I'm alert and I'm on the watch, that's the area in front of my truck belongs to me. That's my territory. And see, if you even think that way or act, not you, if somebody thinks that way, acts that way, immediately people go, what do you mean it belongs to you? It's mine. That space in front of my parking spot is there so that I can get in and out of my space. They say, well, what makes you think it's your space? My truck's in it. How is it my space? How is it not my space and my truck's in it? Meaning, while I'm here, that belongs to me. See, you can't have it without my permission. This is the transgression. See, they've come onto my property. Metaphorically in this moment, see. But what will always happen is this realm will always put it back on me to make sure I'm righteous, see? Because if I'm not righteous, I might be playing at being righteous. And when they start questioning me, I might get all hesitant and be like, well, that's my truck over there. And, well, you know, my clock doesn't restart for another hour and 8 minutes. And then I got a 15-minute pre-trip. What's that got to do with it? See, now they're going to take over how I conduct my affairs and my business on my property. See, this is an allegory for America. Right. So if the people who are born here, and again, I'm not trying to make this an American, you know, a native versus, well, we can. That's a whole other story. But I'm not trying to make it a, you know, I am from here, right? And you're not. I'm not trying to turn that into that. But that it ends up being, it becomes what it is, right? But it's a allegory for the way MAGA operates, because they want the government to go be a jerk. They want the government to go be the watch and make sure nobody comes and parks and blocks them in at the truck stop. The government's not going to do that unless it suits the government. See, if Trump decides he doesn't want his parking spots blocked, guess what? You're not going to block Trump's parking spots. You're also not going to block Kamala's or Biden's, by the way. So I'm out here to defend myself. Now I could go in the truck stop and start complaining. See, the truck stop could be the government. They could be the representative of the government. It's technically, they're tasked with, you know, liabilities. They're the ones with liability insurance and, you know, paying property tax and all of these things, right? You know, controlling this parcel of land, developing it. So I can go appeal to the government. All that's going to happen is the government has some Gen Z cheeky poo with their sides of her head shaved and, you know, pink hair on top, literally, which is fine. Now there was a black fella working in there, younger fella too, Gen Z. I have no idea if he would have done anything. Probably both of them are just going to tell me all the reasons. Probably both of them are going to tell me all the reasons why they can't do nothing about none of this. Right? Well, if I know all they're going to do is tell me all the reasons they're not going to do anything, why waste my time in that? Why go in there and tell them about it when I can handle the problem myself? So he ain't moving. So guess what happens now? Again, the government will never be a jerk on my behalf for me. So what is it now, y'all? It's Air Horn City, baby. It's Air Horn City. Now everybody's a jerk. Y'all don't want to get woke up at midnight to Air Horn City? Meaning, Air Horn City is that, the fucking air horn. I could have honked the city horn, I honked the fucking air horn. Now other truckers are waking up. Well, hey, guess what, truckers? If we all decided tomorrow that we are, every single time we see somebody blocking in other truckers, we go over to that truck and say, hey man, that's not a parking spot, you can't park there. And then we take a time out of our day, see, and we say, hey man, you gotta go. Because they don't just leave. See, the first guy who's from here, he just left after, you know, once he got awake, he left. The foreigner tried every trick in the book to not leave. So I counteracted every move he made. Every move he made, I remained vigilant and ran out there and said, you got to move your truck, man. You have to move your truck. This is not a parking spot, sir. Now, if he had some English, I would have been, then we could have got into the, now he might have been pretending not to speak English. That's a big thing. Then we could have got into the, you know, oh, you're going to block my truck? Meaning I'm not going to have a fist fight over this, but, you know, man to man, that quickly becomes a thing where, you know, that's some version of fighting words. You're just going to, like, just drive up to a gas station and just park your vehicle, your car in front of somebody's car and just stay there. And then when they're like, hey man, move your car, right? And make sure they're blocked in behind them too, so they can't just back out. Then just start asking them a bunch of questions, right? Put it back on them, see? Refuse to move. See what happens? See what I mean? That's what I'm dealing with here. This is how ridiculous this is. So he finally moves. Air Horn City's going on, right? Again, at this point, I blame everybody because this happens everywhere. And in fact, I intentionally park where they can't block me in, meaning I usually only ever park where I've got a truck facing me who's backed into a spot. Now, every once in a while, they'll just come block you anyway, right? But typically, they don't block and then go to sleep, see? And they know they're wrong. They know they're doing wrong, see? They know they're doing wrong. I'm righteous in that moment. See, I'm not righteous across the board. I'm righteous in that moment. So he pulls up, and now I think, okay, it's egg time. I'm going to back up into my spot. Well, as soon as I back up, he starts backing up again. See, he's trying to force me to leave right away. See, because now he's thinking he's going to back into my spot, which is fine because when I leave it, it's no longer my spot. Now it's whoever gets here first spot. Right? It doesn't belong to me once I leave it. Now it's up for grabs. So it's abandoned. I've abandoned it at that point. So we spend like 15 minutes of him, thinking he's going to back in to where he was. And then me pulling forward again. Right? And finally I'm like, well, fuck, I guess I'll just have to block half the damn... I guess I just got to block half the road here. But that's not me being a jerk. That's him being a jerk. And if a trucker got out of his truck and said, hey man, why are you blocking this? I said, go ask him why he's blocking me in. Go talk to him. Don't talk to me. I'm rectifying the situation. So it takes a while, but finally somebody else on the end leaves. So me speaking no English goes down, and now he goes and parks, which is all he wanted to do, which is fine. I don't have a beef with that. I don't have a beef with the part where, I have no vendettas. I don't hold a grudge. Also, sometime during all this, he had enough English to try to convey to me basically like there's nowhere for me to park. I said, that's not my problem. See, that's another thing. They'll try to make it your problem. Why? There's nowhere for me to park. Hey, that's not my problem. Then we get into a Christian, and I'm not a Christian, by the way. Well, what would Jesus do? Well, Jesus wouldn't be driving this here truck, partner. So I'm not sure that what Jesus would do plays into it, but as far as I know, I done forgave the first transgression, meaning I didn't vandalize his vehicle, I didn't beat him up, I'm scrawny, but I'm way bigger than this dude as far as my frame, He's from some land where the men don't grow to over about 5'5", which is fine, but I'm looming over him now. Actually, that's not true because he didn't get down to. Yeah, he did get down to the tarmac. Now that I think about it, yeah, he was. I was looming over him at a certain point, and I'm just pointing. I'm like, you gotta go, man. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, brother. And at a certain point, you remember, because I'm meditative, I'm like, man, I hope nobody's. I'm wondering if this is a psyop. I'm participating in the psyop, and am I being recorded for social media? And now we're gonna have, the Caucasian American-born trucker, pointing to the exit of the truck stop and telling a foreigner to leave, and that could then be like that could then symbolize, telling him to leave the country, which again, not my problem. It's only my problem when they block me in at the truck stop, and then where they're from, what they look like, what their religion is, what language they speak doesn't have anything to do with it. Shout out to Highly Suspect, who used to say that violence is golden. And the fact is, I'm not willing to utilize violence in this situation, but he don't know that. He doesn't know that. So I'm not fearful, I'm righteous. He's got to be fearful. But he's still going to try to act indignant, and he's always going to push it back on me. Motherfucker, I'm righteous. How you gonna push it back on me? Now here's the thing is, if I'm if I'm not in touch with my righteousness and my core essence of who I am in that moment, then these little attacks, these little probes will work. And I'll start hesitating. I'll start doubting myself, see. I got no doubt in this moment, partner. None whatsoever. None. And I'm committed. He is not, once he's moved his truck out of the way of blocking my spot, I've reclaimed my territory, number one. Number two, all invaders will be blocked. Meaning I will physically run the fuck out there, or I will move my truck back in the way. I will enforce a border. I will enforce a border. Not the Love's truck stop. Because let's say the Love's truck stop actually comes out there, wakes people up as they do at some truck stops and makes them leave. Guess what? That doesn't mean somebody else can't drive around and just pull right in. Which is, guess what happened? Which is exactly what happened. So I run out there, and it's another Hispanic, but I think he was from America. I think he was a Southern California Hispanic, based on, he came back twice, see? So the first time he comes out there, I just run out there shaking my head no and wagging my finger. And that's, on the West Coast, that's how you tell the bus driver that you're not taking that bus. So they don't need, if I'm the only one at the bus stop and they're not dropping off, they know they can keep moving. Right. The wagging of the Kimbe Mutombo finger wag and shake my head side to side, left to right. So I go back to my truck now, and by now the Colombian or wherever he was from, now he's parked. So now I'm back in my space trying to make eggs. The morning egg drink. Well, the same guy comes around again, but he comes in from the other way. He comes in the same direction. He loops around, and he comes in hauling ass, hoping he can do what? Catch me not paying attention. And he's going to park there. After he knows, they know they're wrong, number one. They know they're wrong. Number two, I done told him and warned him, and he looped around because I'm righteous and he's in the wrong. Now he's trying me again. Now it's mano y mano. Now it's just he thinks he can punk me. That's all this is. This is man to man. He thinks he can punk me. So I go out, I just walk out there. I run out there, almost get run over. A Rick coming the other way, but I guess my guardian angels were looking out for me. But I failed to, being in the moment, I failed to look both ways before crossing the street. And now he's blocked. Now he's got me blocked. He's in my territory. See now, but he's not parked, see. He's got to maneuver his truck to actually park. Which is kind of crazy if you think about it, because if it's okay to block me in, why is it not okay to just park right in the middle of the fucking driveway? Right? See, it shows you they already know they're trying to get away with some bullshit. Right? They know they're trying to get away with some bullshit. Otherwise, why wiggle into, a perfect rectangle, right? Why make a perfect geometric shape? What's the fucking difference at this point, right? So I go out there. Now he wants to roll his window down and now he wants to ask questions. I said, you're blocking my truck. I said, you got me blocked. He said, which truck? I said, oh, you gonna block my truck? And I made a face and I pointed at my chest. I kind of stuck my neck out and I cocked my head to the side. I said, oh, you gonna block my truck? Meaning, okay, now it's man to man. Now it's mano y mano, because now you're doing it to my face when I done already told you that's my territory. And you done come back, you left and came back hoping I'm not watching. See? Benton's on the watch. Benton's on the watch. Partner. And when I go to the Walmart in that same town, in the story I told on a recent live stream yesterday, that's why them broads focus all their attention on me. That's why little Gen Z Chicky Poo sidled right up to me at the eggs with her fucking fella over there pushing the cart. because that's in me and they can detect it. That's why, because that's the opposite of a lack of masculinity. And if you ever want to know what women are attracted to, fellas, it's masculinity. Except we've allowed this system to brainwash us, not me, of course, but people have allowed themselves to be brainwashed into thinking, oh, I gotta be a stoic. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go out there and be stoic, and he's already invaded my space, and I'm just gonna stoically stand there? How the fuck is that gonna work? I'm probably gonna have to use my personality. I'm probably gonna have to use my comical body language. I'm probably gonna have to raise my voice, right? Just like they say Trump is using the tariffs for bargaining. Well, this is a tariff, see? I'm out there raising my voice on a tariff. I'm out there, see, there's going to be a penalty, sir. There's going to be a penalty, sir, but I can't enforce all that stoically. I can't enforce all that without risking somebody recording me and putting me on social media, see? I'm righteous. Why would I fear being put on social media? Why? And I'm going to say it again. Never in my life have I ever suffered a negative consequence that resulted from me standing up for myself. Not one motherfucking time. The way this realm works, if a human being stands up for themselves, they will not be punished. That's just how it works. That's not a guarantee. That's what I've found to be true in my life. And guess what? If they punish me anyway, so be it. Because what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. And that's what I heard is Southern California accent. Because yeah, they do have an accent in Southern California. You just got to know what to listen for. I don't know. Could have been San Diego. That's actually a little different. Could have been the OC. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, that's all it took was me being willing to act a fool. And he said, which truck? Like I'm a bitch. Like I'm a punk. Like I answer to him, see? Well, guess what? If I start answering his questions, I guess I do answer to him. And now I don't explain to him that I don't answer to him. I don't say, well, actually, sir, I just put it back on him. I say, oh, you gonna block my truck? Because otherwise, I guess you just think I'm just some local person, and I come out here and get my jollies, making y'all leave. Well, maybe I am. But in this instance, even if I don't have a truck and I'm a local homeless person, guess what, buddy? You still mano-y-mano telling me that you're willing to block my truck. And he fucking left. And that's human nature. That's human psychology. Because it's not worth... Now people say, oh, well, what if this? And what if that? What if he comes and fights you? What if he's got a... Well, so what? So what? I'm a warrior, Jack. A spiritual warrior. Art of war. First, the warrior places himself beyond the possibility of defeat. Into what? Into righteousness. I can't be defeated in a state of righteousness. So first thing I did was I made sure I was in alignment, mind, body, and spirit. Was I physically capable of doing all this? Yeah, I mean, just barely, but yeah, I was. I was able to jump out of my truck and run out there a couple of different times. My mind knew what to do strategically. Strategically, my mind knew what to do. I had the knowledge of how to handle the situation. I had the knowledge. And then my spirit was a warrior spirit. And a warrior who's read the Art of War, when he goes into battle, he places himself psychologically and spiritually beyond the possibility of defeat, which means I have nothing to fear. If he has a gun and shoots me dead, guess what? I died righteous. If he beats me up, hey, that's what happened. Hopefully I gave him a good fight. But I'm not backing down. He can come out there with a weapon. Now, if he points a gun at me, we might find out it might become a situation where maybe we will find out that, but then now he's committed a crime, we're gonna call the cops, and he's gonna be arrested. And I'm gonna go testify at his trial if he doesn't take a deal. In fact, even coming out, he can come out of the truck with a weapon. All I got to do is pull my phone out of my pocket and record him. That's an aggravated assault. I don't know if y'all know that. That's aggravated assault. The minute he raises it up and acts like he's going to hit me with it, well, that's aggravated assault, sir. And I'm not going to be bluffed anyway, right? And hell, I'm trying to get out of there. I might just let him shoot me. I'm trying to get up out of here. I might just let him shoot me. I might just take my arms and make the sign of the cross and just say, hey, here you go, Jack. Take me. Take me. We'll find out, won't we? And until a man has put himself through those type of situations over and over and over again, he don't know what he's made of. See, I know exactly what the fuck I'm made of. But I don't explain to him who I am, where I'm from, what I'm doing. I don't do none of that. See, I don't do none of that. I act on it. I show it with my actions. See, but that Southern Cal, that SoCal Hispanic fella, Vato, I don't know what we're calling it. Chicano. Used to be Chicano. They don't use that so much anymore. Because imagine me going to his hood. Now, if he'd have kept trying to argue, I'd have said, all right, man, you telling me you'd let me come to your hood in Southern California and block your truck in? You would let me do that. And then I'd love to see him lie and say, oh, yeah. I say, bullshit. I've been to your hood. I've been at least close enough to it. Echo Park used to be the hood, partner. It's gentrified. There's still people there who haven't been gentrified out of there yet. There's still gang graffiti all over the motherfucking place. They still tagging in Echo Park. So you gonna let me come to your hood and block your truck in? I said, this is my hood, partner. I didn't say that. I didn't have to say it. I said, this is my hood. Oh, you from here? Yeah, I'm from here, partner. I'm from here. Even if I wasn't, you can't block my truck in. I'm just saying, you gonna let me come to your hood and block your truck in? I don't think you are. But here you're out here testing MAGA country. See, I'm not MAGA. He's out here testing MAGA country. And you know what he's found? MAGA country's on some bullshit. MAGA country's soft. You think he ain't gonna go home and tell the people where he's from? Or is he gonna go home and tell them, man, you know, usually I can go in there and just do whatever the fuck I want, rape and pillage metaphorically, and just live off the fat of the fucking land. This time, some old head actually told me to move my truck. Told me that's not a parking spot. And then when I tried to push back, he said, "Oh, you gonna block my truck? You gonna block my truck? I don't think you are." Then we go stoic. Now it's time for stoicism. Now we just stand there and look at them. See, we're not stoic across the board. We're not stoic in all situations. That's a LARP, and that's a lie, and that's programming. That's system programming from the system, of the system, on behalf of the system, for the system's purposes, to further perpetuate the system. This idea that I'm going to be stoic in all situations. I'm a dynamic human being endowed with creativity. My mind is my weapon, and by God, I will act in any way I decide is appropriate in the moment. And I will put my name on it. And if it doesn't come across stoic, so be it. Guess who else wasn't stoic? Jim motherfucking Benton, my famous ancestor. He was one of the most masculine men you'll ever meet. But he weren't stoic. He weren't stoic. Yeah, let's all turn into the thinker statue and just we'll ponder on it while the ponder like the thinking statue, the thinker, and just watch the government bring in people from other countries to take over everything. Just watch it happen. Meanwhile, they can't come take over my territory. Not allowed. Well, if people I'm not identified with this country and this government. But if people identify with Trump as a hero, they identify with the greatness of America, the military might of America. Is it not their duty to stop this stuff? And I mean physically stop it, not with violence. To physically go tell the people who are taking advantage, go tell them, hey man, you're taking advantage of me. You can't take advantage of me. I'm not allowing it. I don't know. Occupy Wall Street. Antifa goes and occupies. I don't know. Go occupy the local social services. And when they come in there to try to apply for benefits, say, well, who are you? We don't know you. Do you live here? What are your ties to the community? See? Because, I got a strategic brain, and I understand tactics. So, the thing is, it's amazing, the strategic thinker, tactician, right? Architect of systems, INTJ, high testosterone, 99 on the ASVAB, that's who you're listening to. See, I'm not identified with the country, see? But I can create strategies to get a job done. Meaning, you don't want people coming here from other countries and applying for benefits? Then I guess you better organize a watch party and send them down to the local social services office, because anything short of that, it ain't gonna work. And when they show up, you gotta say, who are you? And they say, what do you mean, who am I? Who are you? Never mind who I am. I'm asking who you are, buddy. Oh, me speaking no English? Okay, well we got a Spanish speaker over here. My right hand speaks Spanish. Well, come on, let me go. Yeah, here he's busy. He'll be here in a minute. He'll translate. Oh, you do speak English. Okay, well, interesting. You actually, after all, you do speak. Okay. Huh. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed you were merely pretending not to speak English to get an advantage in this situation? Huh. I've never seen that before. It's my first time encountering somebody pretending not to speak English. Interesting. Now, you know what they said happened when Trump first got elected? And actually first got sworn in? They said that, it's going to sound like a joke, and who knows if it was true or not, but they said all these day laborers went into hiding. They said you couldn't find maybe one or two day laborers at a Home Depot anywhere in the country. Now, Southern California accepted, right? West Coast accepted. Maybe the East, maybe the actual New York or whatever accepted, of course. See, they're proving that they know they're not righteous. So what I would say is, if you ask my opinion about foreigners, I'd say come here, but do it righteously, to where you don't have to go hide, not you the listener, to where they don't have to go hide because the president changed. What kind of life is that? I'd rather stay my ass in Guatemala than go to another country and Now I can't stand around the Home Depot parking lot for work because the president changed. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Here's the thing is, MAGA's not going to do any of this. None of this. MAGA's going to strut around with their chest out and with their Trump gear and their LiveLark gear, acting tough and not doing a motherfucking thing to help a situation. And then, even if they wanted to occupy, this is why I respect Antifa and Black Lives Matter way more than I respect MAGA. Way more, because they will at least put their bodies on the line. Antifa will. Because, listen to this. So let's say that MAGA actually, I shamed them into showing up and occupying the local social services office, right? All that's going to happen is somebody's going to call the cops are going to show up and explain the situation and politely ask them to leave, and you know what MAGA's going to do? They're going to follow orders and leave. You can't show up and start telling Antifa how it is. I watched Antifa fight the cops in Portland with my own two eyes. Antifa pelted the cops with feces and urine. I respect that. Maybe there's some righteousness in that. What do you think? Maybe there's some righteousness in showing up to a protest and saying, we're Antifa, we got a right to protest. And then the cops showing up and saying, well, this is an illegal assembly. And they're saying, hey cop, how about a bag of feces thrown your way? How about a bag of urine thrown your way? How you like them apples, copper? See, I respect that. What I don't respect is, oh, we're going to go strut around with our chest out and make a show at this social services because Benton shamed us. But now the cops are here and they've asked us politely to leave. And you know, maybe we told them the law, but then we left. Well, motherfuckers, if you know the law, why ain't you standing on the law? See, Benton ain't going to go out here First Amendment auditing. Benton can be asked to leave, and he'll leave if he chooses to. If Benton decides to plant his own 2 feet, I'm not explaining the law. I'm standing on the law, and if they arrest me or they billy club me, so motherfucking be it, Jack. If they taser me, so fucking be it. Because I'm not committing until I know it's something worth fighting for. And the fact is, MAGA knows this country ain't worth fighting for. Is it worth fighting for me shutting down early, getting a good night's sleep, so that I can drive my preferred hours early in the morning? Fuck yeah, it is. Absolutely it was worth it. Because I could have waited until my 15-minute pre-trip inspection. Meanwhile, what if I was actually going to check the truck? Right? I mean, come on. But, I'm just going to hope I can get everybody to move in 15 minutes. Fuck you, not you, the listener. Fuck that. Benton on the watch. Good luck. And of course, see, the lefties will just say, oh, you know, they got it bad where they're from. You know, you're privileged. See, I don't play them games. That's neither here. They can say that all they want. Lefties ain't driving the goddamn big rigs. Not lefties born from here. Not lefties born in America. They don't drive. They don't park at truck stops. They're not part of the equation. Who asked them? I didn't ask their opinion. Who asked them? I didn't ask them. So, but what will happen is, it will all get put on social media, right? It'll get discussed on social media. That's leftist arena. Then they will come put their 2 cents in, and they'll try to shame me, and they'll shame MAGA and say, well, you know, those people got it hard. And, you know, he's just trying to feed his family in Guatemala and Honduras. And, oh, okay. So because there's mouths to feed in Guatemala and El Salvador and Honduras, then so now I've gotta be inconvenienced. Because I'm privileged. I'm privileged. Doing one of the least desirable jobs in this country that's also considered one of the most important and productive. Okay. See, I don't play that game. I say, okay, so what if I am? Or I'll make it into a joke. I say, you're damn right I'm privileged. You're looking at me? You're looking at me, ain't you? And if they don't get my meaning and say, what do you mean? I say, look at me, I'm beautiful. Don't hate me because I'm privileged to be beautiful. Are you kidding me? All this in a bag of chips, toots. All this in a bag of chips, toots. See, this is the real Benton. This is the real Benton. If y'all want to know who I am, this is as close to my core essence as I can get is what you're getting right now. Other than when I'm preaching. Preaching is probably the closest. This is second closest. And I guess I am preaching to some extent. Yep. Can't tell me nothing. Can't tell me nothing. Oh, I'm privileged. You're damn right I'm privileged. I got a beautiful mind and a beautiful face. 5'10", size 12 shoes and hands the size of an NFL quarterback. Draw your own conclusions. Truly blessed. Truly blessed. What y'all gonna tell me? Nothing. Which truck? Oh, you gonna block my truck? Okay. Now I'm interested. Now I'm stoic. Pardon me. Now I'm stoic. Okay. I want to see this. See, that's the stoicism. Stoicism is I done told you how it is, partner. Now let's see your move. That's stoicism. Stoicism is I got you in check, partner. I got you in check. Are you about to put yourself in checkmate? And there's only one way to find out, buddy. The only way to find out if you're in checkmate, buddy, is to just go ahead and park there. And then we're going to find out. That's the only way to find out. Now I'm stoic because it's your move. I'm not stoic when it's my move. That ain't the time for stoicism when it's my move. How is it time for stoicism and it's my move? That's called being a bitch. In my world, that's called being a bitch and a punk. And you know what? The first day they punk me, that'll be the first day. I've never been punked. That's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. What's up, Maceo? So my interpretation of living like Christ from the Gospels is I'm peaceful and I treat people well. Now this isn't the entirety of it, but the moment they transgress and I've turned the other cheek, I forgave the first transgression. Now you got war, buddy. You gonna go to war over parking your big rig? And that's the strategy. These people that behave this way, the strategy is they're saying to the people who are from here, are you willing to go to war over this? And they're bluffing. See? Because if he really was a man of conviction and thought he was in the right, why wouldn't he just park anyway? And just give me the middle finger and say, well, fuck you, buddy. You can't do nothing about it. Because believe you me, if they're this way now, what do you think they're going to be like when they feel like they've actually taken over? How are they going to be treating your children? How are they going to be treating your relatives? Right? How are they going to be treating you? Meanwhile, I'm not worried about it because I am able to stand up for myself in individually. Because I can't expect the government to be an asshole on my behalf, meaning I damn sure better be my own asshole on my own behalf. And sometimes the only tool for a job is an asshole. Sometimes the job that needs to be done, that job can only be done by a fucking asshole who's willing to just publicly be a fucking asshole. Well, surprise, surprise. I'm your hucklebearer, right? I prefer to say huckleberry, and I believe it is supposed to be huckleberry. Do we really think that Doc Holliday and all his creativity and his sort of theatrical way he came across in the movie, you really think that he couldn't, and he was learned and well-read, do we really, he's not possible for him to do a play on words and know that it's hucklebearer and say I'm your hucklebee, or your huckleberry rather, I'm your huckleberry? Is that outside of the realm of possibility? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. So yeah, I'm your huckleberry. I'm your honeysuckle. And then, what if he wanted to say, well, what if I just park here anyway? What are you going to do about it? I'd say, well, you know what? I hadn't really thought about it. That's a good question. Probably I would wait for you to go to sleep. And then since I can't leave to start my shift, probably I'll just make it where you can't leave to start your shift. I'm just guessing. Because if I can't leave, I can make it where you can't leave. Now, what would be implied is that I'm going to disable his rig. I can just drop my trailer and I can just park my bobtail where he can't get out. See? See how it worked? Strategy. Because I'm pretty sure I don't want to be on camera, disabling somebody's big rig. I don't know. Maybe I would. Maybe I would take the charge and just go see the judge and explain it to the judge. It's all right. I'm ready for my punishment. How do you plead? Guilty. What happened? This is what happened. I'm ready for my punishment. And I would do it again, Judge. I would do it again. So, give me my punishment, Judge. But I would do it again, Judge. And that's the judgment. The judgment is atoning for correct actions, repenting, seeking forgiveness, receiving forgiveness, and then not repeating the behavior, so that when I get to the end of this experience, I get to tell the judge, meaning the Most High, well, if I'm guilty, if charging me, and if I'm guilty, then I'm ready for my punishment, and I'd have done it, I'd do it again. I put my name on it so much so that I'm not ashamed of anything I've done, and there's not one thing I've done that I'm ashamed of, because based on the rules of what they told me was your book, boss, based on the rules of what they told me was your book, and your son, I done confessed, repented, asked for forgiveness, and I've been forgiven like it never happened, sir. And everything I've done after that, I put my name on it. So if you're charging me and you're telling me I'm guilty, then hey, give me my sentence, and I'd do it the same way again. And I like my chances in that judgment. I don't believe I would be, I believe it'd be Satan trying to charge me. And then I'd have to say not guilty, because look at who's prosecuting, see? It ain't the Most High. It ain't the Most High prosecuting in the judgment. That's Satan prosecuting. That's Satan trying to say, well, look, we're separating the wheat from the tares. Tares belong to me. Satan say the tares belong to me, Jack. See how it works? Satan say the tares belong to me. So he's the prosecutor. He's charging me. And I'm saying, actually, prosecutor, turns out that you're mistaken. Turns out that you're mistaken. Now, if I'm willing to play into Satan's frame of reference, and I get all unrighteous and I get all hesitant and I start thinking, well, wait a minute, maybe I did behave incorrectly. Maybe I didn't repent. Well, guess what? Now I'm in trouble. See? Now I might plead guilty based on my own code. See? Now I might say, well, damn, I guess I am guilty. See? Absolutely not. This is the judgment. The judgment is, can I stand in righteousness in a given moment? Yes or no? And the fact is, we're in a realm where virtually nobody has the ability to truly stand in righteousness from time to time. I'm not saying across the board, right? I'm saying when it matters. I'm saying when called to stand up. And the fact is, MAGA believes they will stand up in righteousness. And the moment the popo shows up and tells them that, well, in fact, you're not righteous, they leave. Well, actually, sir, popo shows up and says, well, MAGA, we're happy to see you, but we're in a corporate, and see, the cops might actually be MAGA too. And this is what y'all, meaning the American public, this is what the American public does not understand about corporations and a corporate structure. In a corporate structure, the responding officers could be MAGA, don't tread on me, Gadsden flag. Make America great again. And they'll still show up on behalf of the corporation. And they'll say, well, I'm with y'all in spirit, but I got to keep this here job because I got kids. And the corporation says, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here. And then MAGA leaves because MAGA ain't righteous. Because nobody can align themselves with blue-blooded billionaires from Manhattan and also stand in righteousness. It's not possible. Now, can one meme and can one be too cool for school and do live streams making fun of lefties and memeing like they see themselves heroically using Trump as a proxy? Of course they can, but that ain't righteous. Can they trick themselves within their own spirit into believing that they've stood in righteousness because they've identified with memes? Yeah, they're lying to themselves. They're living in a state of delusion. Well, I can't raise folks that's grown. And thank God, thank you, Jesus. This is a holy individual experience spiritually. See, God's law, Maceo Gabbard. Why do we call it natural law? Because they won't call it the will and the will and the law of the Most High, the one who owns it all, the one that made it all. And I don't mean a human being. I don't mean a he. I don't mean a sky daddy. I don't mean a father. I mean the most super intelligent force of love that is possible. The one that it all came from. The Alpha and the Omega. That's what I'm talking about. That force is law. If you want to call that nature, that's fine. When I think nature, I think the realm and the trees and the terra, right? And the water and the air. Mother Nature. See, now we're back into genders. That ain't it. The will and the law of the most super intelligent force of love that's possible. That's how I define the Most High. And go ahead and tell me you're an atheist now, yurt. And I don't care if you are or not. But if you're willing to tell me that you don't know of the existence of the most super intelligent force of love possible, then I guess you're not what you claim to be, sir. Because when I talk about the Most High, that's what I'm talking about, Jack. And absolutely you believe in that. I know you believe in that. Meaning you know that's real. Otherwise, why are you out here trying to make more people? Are you out here trying to make more people to serve wickedness? I hope not. Maybe you are. But I'd like to give old Yurt the benefit of the doubt. In a thought experiment, in a simulation, which is also an experiment. Interesting. Simulation is an experiment by definition.
Reduce speed.
Reduce your pussy hairs, bitch. Reduce your cunt hairs, bitch. See, that's the real bit. The real bit, when a woman thinks that she's gonna call him out and say, well, you could say you should be a gentleman. I say you should be a lady. If you're a lady, I'd probably be a gentleman. You're not a lady. Meanwhile, I've told them this before. I've said to a lady who were trying to say I should be a gentleman, I said, miss, I say, the gentleman rides his horse to his palatial estate. I don't have I'm not the lord of a manor, ma'am. Furthermore, you're not a lady, because a lady can never publicly question a gentleman and remain a lady. Because lady is a status, ma'am. And you can't be a lady and question a gentleman in public. So if your assertion that I'm a gentleman is true, I might put you over my knee. Except now you might like it, and now I don't want to give anybody anything to fantasize about. Meaning if I'm a gentleman and you're a lady, guess what? You're beneath me, meaning I get to call you out. If you think you're going to call me out, I'll put you over my knee. If you think you're a lady and I'm a gentleman. See, people use this stuff and don't know what it means. See, I go to the basic foundational level and I get to know the concepts first, see. First. And that's how I make sure I'm right, so that I can go ahead, see. First I make sure I'm right, then I go ahead. So how else am I going to know I'm righteous if I don't examine these concepts at the most basic foundational level, also known as a beautiful mind? Do you think John Nash, the mathematician, failed to first grasp the nuances of the basic foundational levels? When I began the process of becoming one of the best basketball players of all time under 6 feet tall, and I was that. Now that's not saying a lot, but I'll put my basketball game up against any other 5'10" fella, I'll tell you that, back in the day. When I underwent the process of becoming one of the greatest basketball players of all time under 6 feet tall, and I put my name on that, what did I do Well, first, since I got a beautiful mind, I went to the library because I loved to read back then, and I checked out Larry Book's Book of Basketball Drills, where Larry Bird, one of the most fundamentally sound basketball players of all time, said, here's the drills to do to learn the fundamentals of basketball. And I went to the basketball hoop at the local elementary school in my neighborhood, and every day after school, the first thing I did after school was I went to that basketball court, and I did them drills for hours every day. And then what would happen is other basketball players would show up and they'd start playing full court basketball. And then I'd have to go off to the side and do my drills on one of the side goals because I wasn't good enough to play in the game yet. I was learning the fundamentals. See, this is the practice. And then once I got confident with my fundamentals over a period of months, then I was always the first one there, meaning I got the court. Meaning when we go pick teams for the first game, I get to pick a team, and whoever showed up next gets to pick a team. Well, guess what? Winner keeps the court. Meaning if I'm not good enough, and we're playing 4-on-4, and the other 3 aren't good enough to overcome what I'm lacking, that means we lose the first game, and now I got to wait in line again to pick because nobody's picking me back then. So I might only get to play in one game. So what now? Now we're back to doing drills. Now we're back to doing drills on the side goal. Whatever, that's fine. And before it was over with, I was one of the best damn players on that court. And I had 3 fellas that I would play with regularly. We developed a little team. And on a Saturday, we'd go down there, and not always, but oftentimes, we would keep the court all day long with 40 motherfuckers waiting to play. Just hoping we'd get beat. Because maybe their buddy got the pick next if we lose. And maybe their buddy, and it's all politicking. Hey man, let me get a run. Hey man. Selling themselves. Here's what I can bring to your team. It's competitive, see? Here's what I can do for it. Because whoever's picking next, they want to win to keep the court. They just want to play basketball. See, this is a meritocracy. See? Guess who does really good in an actual meritocracy? Guess who does really good under fair competition? Meanwhile, I'm the smallest dude out there, and rose to be one of the best players. And if I was 6 foot motherfucking 4, I'd have been the best player. And then Biley showed up, the best player in the state showed up one Saturday, and then he'd have been the best player. See how it works? Because he came down there and nobody could do anything with him. He came down there and just dunked on everybody repeatedly. Couldn't nobody do anything but watch him do it. See, that's a man right there. That's what a man does. A man puts up his best effort, and if he gets dunked on, oh well, I guess you did something dunking on me, partner. I guess you did something. Let me shake your hand, congratulations. Because if you beat me, you done something. So if I'm out here in a spiritual war, how am I going to be out here in a spiritual war as a spiritual warrior, art of war style, strategically, than put myself beyond the possibility of defeat? I better understand the basics. Otherwise, what chance do I have? Meanwhile, what does the realm do? The system, for its own purposes, the system teaches people to skip past the fundamentals and to go directly into complication. Go headlong into complication. Don't bother with the fundamentals. You're too good for that. You don't need to practice the fundamentals over and over and over again. And you know what happens to this day? Anytime I pick up a basketball, which is not often, and I go to take a shot, every single time somebody comments on my form. You know why? Because I'm not that good of a shooter. I never was anything beyond a streak shooter. But I can shoot a jump shot with perfect motherfucking form. Textbook form. Textbook form. To this day, because I drilled it, and I drilled it, and I drilled it some more. And I'm not here to tell anybody what to do, but anybody in this realm, in this spiritual war with the forces of evil, see, a lot of you, the forces of evil ain't coming against you because they know we ain't got to worry about him. We ain't got to worry about her. We already got them. It's not until the being begins to practice. It's not until the being begins to stand in righteousness that the attacks come and the persecution comes. See, MAGA's not persecuted in their spiritual lives. Christian churchgoers in America are not persecuted in their spiritual lives because they're not behaving spiritually. They're not living their beliefs. They're hypocrites. There's no reason for the enemy to attack spiritually. Now, the ones who are living in righteousness, the ones who are putting their name on it, yes, they are absolutely being persecuted, just like the Bible says they will be. Well, who wants to be persecuted? Do your worst, Satan. Do your worst, minions. Because guess what? If I am what I say I am, they can't touch me. When I embody what I was created to be, evil cannot touch me. Why would I fear that? Why? I'm throwing down the gauntlet before the internet, before Satan's hell pit called Alphabet, Google, YouTube. And make no mistake, that is Satan's hell pit. I'm speaking to you via Satan's hell pit. Do your worst. The Book of Job style. Take it all away. You can have the CDL. You can have the big rig. Hell, they already got my health to some extent, but that was of my doing. Mostly, not entirely. Although part of my testimony is I have been healed in the name of Christ Jesus. Praise Almighty God. That's my testimony, part of it. I've been delivered from wicked spirits, unclean spirits, and demonic spirits. And if it bothers people that I attribute that to Christ Jesus, I don't know what to tell you. That was what I was programmed with. Was whatever that force is that's absolutely real. Whatever that force is, I was taught that that's Jesus and that's Christ. And I'm never going to be able to unlearn that. If that bothers somebody, not my problem. Just like when the guy blocked me in at the truck stop and tried to say, well, I don't have anywhere to park. Not my problem. Not my problem. Well, we don't like when you talk about Jesus. Not my problem. Then don't like it. Come back later. I might still be preaching on Jesus. As far as I can tell, that's just about all I got to do. Is when I'm emptied of my own wickedness, and then the Holy Spirit come in, all I got to do is preach. And surprise, surprise, The sermon don't have to be thought about and written ahead of time. It just writes itself spontaneously in the moment. That's creative force. That's my creative force. Endowed by who or what, more correctly? What endowed me with this ability to create? How could anything other than creation endow me with the ability to create? So what is the nature of the thing that endowed me with the ability to create something new in each given moment? I don't know, the creator perhaps? Again, the most super intelligent force of love possible? Is that perhaps what we're talking about? Oh, but people want to talk about atheism. Why would I debate? I would never debate atheism. Because it's going to come down to, okay, if your assertion is that there's no such thing as the most super intelligent force of love, then there's nothing to talk about. Because you're a fool, sir. You're a fool, sir. Why would I argue fools? Why would I argue with fools and debate with fools? Does that make sense to anybody? Does that make sense to anybody? Hey, look, now I'm green. I done fucked the stream up. Oh well. It's kind of cool though. It's probably the phone trying to make sense of the darkness. I kind of like it though. I got my own green screen. That must be like an effects filter. Yes. Well, see, let me come at you another way, TW. Good to see you. What I have is exactly what everybody else has. See, I can't assign this to me, and you're not doing this. This is the system's trick. See. And when I say system, I mean Satan. See, Satan's trick is when I exhibit these characteristics and I stand in righteousness, Satan's system wants to say, wow, you've got a big heart. Yeah, I've got what everybody else has in this realm. I'm tapped into my power within myself. See, my only power in this realm is is within my own sphere of influence inside myself. See, I have no power whatsoever outside of my own sphere of influence. So I have exactly what everybody else has, which is a sphere of influence. That's what I have. So what I have is not special because you also have it. Meaning in a way of thinking, in a particular way of thinking, I'm not special. Now the way I'm utilizing, the way I'm working within my own power source within myself, and if I then go into my own sphere of influence, what I detect within my own sphere of influence is, guess what? There's something in me that's greater than everything. There's something in me that's greater than anything any of us could possibly imagine. What is that? The most super intelligent force of love possible. So when we say big heart, that's what we mean. We mean the most super intelligent force of love possible. That's what that is. So it's not me. I'm not special. It's not my big-heartedness. It's not my characteristics. It's not... See, what the Satan does, Satan pats on the head. Satan gives a pat on the head and says, you're a special, unique little slave here in my realm. Here in heaven or hell realm, presently manifesting as a hell realm, enslaved in the flesh. Satan gives a pat on the head to the little Christian churchgoer and says, boy, you sure do got a big heart. I bet you give in the spirit of Christian charity, little fella. And the little pat on the head. Boy, you sure have made the Most High proud. Bullshit! That's bullshit. Because now the realm And Satan has created an image for me to live up to. What does the Bible say? You're not supposed to worship an image. See, now an image has been created, and now I have something to worship. Now I'm worshiping an image that somebody else created. And said, well, if I'm willing to buy into that, I said, well, you know what? I am kind-hearted. I am big-hearted. No, I'm not. I'm tapped into that. I'm tapped into that super intelligent force of love in my better moments. In my better moments. It's got nothing to do with me. Am I willing to be the servant of the master? Who's the master? What is the master? The most super intelligent form of love possible. That's the master to be served by me. If y'all don't serve that, so what? All the better for me, actually. Just increases my degree of difficulty and makes my accomplishment at the end of this experience all the more greater. As I achieve, not my final form, but as I crawl closer and closer, bit by bit, pixel by pixel, inch by inch, closer to achieving my final form. Because these are the practices. And when I talk about the basics, this is what I mean. Because if people are unable to grasp the basics, how can they practice? I never could have practiced basketball enough to be one of the best if I did not familiarize myself with the basics first. See, first came the basics. Necessarily came the basics. The basics came first. Got a situation on the road. Give me just a minute. And if this realm is a simulation, that means this is practice. They say, is this even real? I don't know. I guess it's practice then. What are you practicing? None of my concern, really. Because I can't answer for your practice. I can only answer for my practice. If it's a video game, then I'm only worried about my score. It's not a team video game. It's a one player. That's solipsism, by the way. Solipsism is that this is a one-player video game. That's your solipsism. Solipsism is this is a one-player video game. The enemy wants me to believe that this is multiplayer. It's a team sport, and I can't succeed unless the team succeeds. See, that serves Satan to think that way. Every single motherfucker in this realm can fail and I can still succeed. That's solipsism. Meaning on some level, this experience is about me and only me on some level. I'm the only spiritual being that matters in this realm, in a way of thinking. That's solipsism. So why does philosophy try to teach me that solipsism is somehow not valid? Solipsism is absolutely valid if applied properly. If properly applied, which is what I'm doing, I'm properly applying the solipsism. And I hope old Yurt listens to this. Because I don't make a move, Yurt, until I've outthought and outmaneuvered my opponent. If I find myself in a chess match, it's only because I chose to enter into a chess match. And every single move was made to where I know I can put my opponent in check and then in checkmate. Doing that now, by the way. And surprise, surprise, the most super intelligent force of love checkmated Satan and evil from the jump. Surprise, surprise, the most super intelligent force of love possible outclassed and outmaneuvered and outthought evil from the jump. And that's the story of Job. The story of Job is, well, yeah, he's blessed and because he's righteous. He's been blessed. He's got all these wives, all these kids, all this money. And then the super intelligent force of love says, well, even if he didn't have all of that, he would still align himself with me. He would still align himself with me, the most super intelligent force of love. And what happened in the biblical story of Job? No matter what they done to Job, he refused to turn his back on love. He refused to turn his back on love. And they tried to tell him, well, love turned its back on you. Why don't you turn your back on it? And Job said, I will not turn my back on love. And I also have never turned my back on love. Ever. Have I done all kind of things that I've now repented for and been asked forgiveness, confess, repent, ask forgiveness, am forgiven? Absolutely, like it never happened. You go out here and tell these demons that all them wicked things you did in your past, that you confessed it to the Lord, to love, that you confessed it to the most super intelligent force of love, and that you asked to be forgiven after you repented by turning your back on wickedness and by saying, I will do everything in my power to no longer behave that way. And if I find myself slipping back into wickedness, I will immediately correct myself. What do you think I do? That's what I do. In real time. I start having impure thoughts. I immediately start invoking out loud. I invoke Christ. And I tell them wicked spirits, I say, get out of here. This ain't your home. I say, those thoughts didn't originate with me. That's demonic oppression. I don't think like that. I don't think all them gutter thoughts and all them perverse thoughts. That's demonic oppression. That is not me. I'm love. My nature is the most super intelligent force of love possible. That's my nature. I don't think degenerate thoughts. When degenerate thoughts enter my mind, that's a wicked spirit. That's a demon oppressing me. And I say, in the name of Christ Jesus, get out of here, spirit. I say, Jesus Christ is Lord. You know what them spirits do? They leave because they don't have no choice but to leave. Because I'm the one with free will. The spirit has to follow the law. It ain't up to the wicked spirit. The wicked spirit has to follow the law. Meaning, when I stand in righteousness and I command the wicked spirit has no choice but to listen and obey. That's Christianity. Or furthermore, that's what Christianity is supposed to be. Isn't that what Christ taught? That's my understanding of the teaching. It's not to go out here and be under demonic oppression and have be constantly ate up with wicked thoughts and doing dirt behind closed doors and guilt and shame, and then going out into public and making a big show out of going to a building and making a big show out of helping the homeless here and there. Bullshit. I've told a homeless to his face that he wanted to complain to me about his lot in life. I said, your fault, buddy. He said, what? I said, listen, man. I said, these people, it was in Austin. I said, these people will come down here. They will pat you on the head. They'll give you a sack lunch. They'll give you a pair of hand-me-down shoes, right? They'll come down here and wash your feet some of the time. Literally, they'll come wash your motherfucking feet. And they'll pat you on the head, and they'll say, there, it's not your fault. I say, it is your fault, buddy. I say, your choice has led to where you are in life. It's your fault. And the man started weeping. He started weeping openly. And I continued with the sermon. And then other people came up and tried to act like I was doing something wrong. What are you doing to this man? I said, he came up and talked to me. I said, he needs to hear this. I said, this is God's message to him, meaning God, meaning what? This is the most super intelligent force of love possible, speaking to him through me. Sorry, speaking to him through me, that's correct. He needs to hear this. Because guess what, folks? Tough love is also love. Tough love is also love. Satan ain't never going to tell you that it's your fault. Satan's going to say it's not your fault that you did wrong. Satan's going to say it's not your fault that life's not going right. Satan's going to say all of that, pat you on the head and clean you up just enough that you can go back to serving Satan's wicked system. As long as you go out here and serve Satan's wicked system, you're always going to have just enough to keep serving Satan. Isn't that shocking? Now, if you serve Satan really good, then you get to be Donald Trump, and you get to be Kamala, and you get to be Obama, and you get to be Biden, or you get to be Brad Pitt, right? Or you get to be Lil Peep or somebody. Or one of my favorites, what's that? Swede. I can't remember. Young Lean. You get to be Young Lean. Or Cardi B. That's the reward for serving Satan really good. But that reward's only here. That's a reward of the flesh. That's a reward of experience. See? That's the fruits of this world. Well, I'm pretty sure I didn't come here to indulge in the fruits of this world. I'm pretty sure I came here to prove my nature in an experiment. And if I am what I say I am, and I put my name on it, what force can stand against me? What force can possibly stand against the most super intelligent form of love possible? The actual light. What do I have to worry about? What is death, though? If hate and evilness and wickedness is the antithesis of love and creation, what the hell is death? Death is what? The inverse of life? How can I fear the inverse of my own nature? Does that make sense to anybody? Is that possible? Doesn't make any sense to me. Death ain't much. If my nature, if my essence, if my soul is the most super intelligent force of love possible, my essence can never die. As we know that this physical body will die. The death is physical and inevitable. Why would I fear that? The essence, and I said if, because there has to be room for doubt. Now I know within my sphere of influence that that's my essence. I know that. And that is evidence. It's only evidence to me. It's not evidence that I can present to you. You either experience it or you don't. Maybe it's not your nature. I don't know. It's mine. So whatever is my essence, my soul, existed outside of this place. And it came here, and it's in this body. And this body came with an expiration date. But my essence that existed somewhere else, when this body dies, my essence will leave here. I don't know where it's going. I'm hoping it doesn't have to come back here, because I'm making it look easy. I'm making this look easy, y'all. I'm making this simulation and this experiment and this test, I'm making it look easy. So I'm pretty sure I ain't going to have to come back here. Now what the enemy will do, the enemy will hope my life is prolonged and say, well, yeah, we'll just wait him out. We'll wait till he gets that dementia like his grandma. Because see, my grandma has lived her life for many years, tapped into the Most High. Now she's got dementia. It's completely changed her personality. And I told my mom, I said, yeah, that's how this works. I say the enemy's got a chance to turn her away from God. And my mom didn't want to hear that. And my grandmother every day says, I don't know why the Lord hadn't taken me yet. Because it's the book of Job. Because if you're the real McCoy, Granny, you got to be able to stand up to the attacks of the enemy indefinitely. Even my old, elderly, broken down, physicality failing grandma, mine don't even work anymore. Even in dementia, I got to be able to do these things. See? Yeah. I bet my granny's going to succeed. Yeah, she's, mean and ornery now. See, that's probably her true nature. She probably is mean and ornery on the inside, but was taught to be all sweet and loving on the outside. I didn't come down here to not face reality. I didn't come down here to live in delusion. So when I see that my grandma is being offered up to the enemy for extended periods of time, because my family all lives into their 80s and 90s, and I think she's damn near 90 by now, got terrible dementia. Every day of her life saying, I don't know why the Lord hadn't taken me yet. Yeah, that's part of this. Yeah, go read the book of Job. Like my granny, she's an expert in the book of Job. The most super intelligent force of love can always withstand the enemy's attacks. Always. Eternally. Eternally. That's surrender, Yurt. That's surrender. It's the acceptance of my true nature. It's surrendering to the reality that my essence is the most super intelligent force of love possible. That's what I surrender to. I surrender to me, sir. And I hope he hears this. I might email him. That's what I surrender to. And I do that as I'm tapped into that force that's in me, and it's greater than anything any of us could possibly imagine. And I've been knowing that more or less my whole life. Knowing it. Even when I did not have the words. And guess what? Guess what lives in that surrender? True liberation and freedom. That is liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Because at this point, it really doesn't matter what happens. It's of no consequence what happens. When a person steps into that reality, as I just did, now will I remain there permanently? Absolutely not. As soon as something goes wrong, and I now say, okay, I need to solve a problem, the truck's broke down, now I'm right back to that space of falling away from that understanding, see? Unless I just say YOLO and walk away from it, I could just walk away from it. I could just leave the truck on the side of the road and go on to whatever's next, see? But I probably won't do that, because I am existing in the material realm, and, you know, I like money, right? But I know I can just go live with nothing. I've done it before. I can do it again. All right, let's just go live with nothing. Don't threaten me with a good time. Maybe I will. Who knows? Because I don't have anything here anyway. I have nothing here physically. This body ain't mine, meaning I'm not taking this with me. This don't belong to me. I'm using it while I'm here, just so it belongs to me the same way that parking spot belonged to me. It's mine while I'm here doing whatever this is. That parking spot and the space in front of it belonged to me while I was there, using it for its intended purpose. Now I'm somewhere else. And it's not my concern what's going on at the Love's truck stop in Hope, Arkansas with that particular parking spot. Because I'm not identified with that. I'm not identified with this body, right? Not in the long run. While I'm here, I am. And that's why they follow me around the grocery store. Because they know I know, and they can detect it, and that's the most masculine thing possible. Everything I've just talked about, that's the most masculine thing possible in this realm. And women have no choice but to be powerfully attracted to the greatest expression of masculinity, because that's the highest status possible in this realm. That's the highest power possible in this realm. It don't get no higher than that. But it don't come with millions. It don't come with 6 figures. It don't come with 6-pack abs. It don't come with 6 feet taller or taller. 6 feet tall or taller. But it shows, and everybody can see it. And almost everybody's serving wickedness and destruction and evil of all kinds. And by God, when they see a righteous man, those wicked spirits inside of these people around me, they want to probe for weakness, and they want to see, well, maybe actually we can turn this one away from the most super intelligent force of love. Nope. No, you cannot. Because I'm all in, I'm pot committed, I've put my name on it. I can't be turned away from my chosen path of love. Meaning, connecting with my personal power inside my sphere of influence. Where the most super intelligent force of love exists. See? I can't be dissuaded. I can't be discouraged. I can't be turned away. And that is the practice. The practice is whatever the being has to do to get to that space where they can honestly look themselves in the mirror and say, yes, I'm all in. I'm pot committed. I can't be discouraged. Now, in the moment, can I be discouraged? Hell yeah. Only when I accept discouragement, though. Nobody can force me into discouragement. But can I be convinced to temporarily accept discouragement? And yeah, of course. That's the fallible human nature. That's the flesh. Absolutely I can. But then I can always say, well, you know what? I've been having a pity party for the last 12 hours. And now I tap back into my true nature within my sphere of influence, and now I can't be discouraged again. It's a process. It's a process. And why am I the only one on here that can go through all of this with brutal logic and explain every little bit of it? Don't follow me. Don't follow me. But now if a person undergoes that process within their own life and they get to a debug or a troubleshooting and they say, well, shit, Benton, what about this? And what about that? How do I get past this? How do I get past that? I can probably give you a hint or two, right? That's my value. But what does that require? The practitioner must do what? Humble, access humility, access enough humility, right? Access enough humility within themselves, right? To say, well, old Benton, he's practicing at a higher level. He's demonstrated his ability to practice at a higher level. Why don't we go ask him? Because he started exactly where we started. So let's go ask him how he done it. Let's go ask him how he done it. And maybe he can, then he'll say, well, okay, what's your, where are you at? What's going on with you? What's your challenges? Oh yeah, I overcame that long ago. And here's what I did. Try that. Right? Try that. And then I'll say furthermore, when you're trying to practice that, here's what's probably going to, here's what your next stumbling block's going to be. See? I'll even foresee the next obstacle, and I'll say, here's how you deal with that obstacle. See, that could be my gift. But I can't share my gift until people are humble. See? And I don't need anybody to be humble. But until the being is able to access humility, I can't serve the being. See how that works? I can't serve the being. So the being is actually, in a way, preventing me from my full expression in this realm by refusing to access humility. Right? By refusing. And now, by the way, what is rebellion? So that's a rebellion. See? What is the nature of rebellion? Is it masculine or is it feminine? See? Is it yin or is it yang? It's yin. It's passive. It's feminine. Now the rebellion can be conducted in assertive masculine ways, but I'm saying the nature of the thing itself is feminine. Because what's masculine is to access humility when it's called for. That's masculine. See? A surrender that creates humility is masculine. It's not feminine. What's feminine is to refuse. Not feminine. In a man, it's not feminine. In a man who lacks masculinity is to remain rebellious and say, well, I don't want to be humble. I don't like to be humble. Well, does love care what you prefer? Did the book of Job concern itself with what Job preferred? I don't think it did, partner. I don't think it did. I don't think that's what happened. And until the being reaches the point that they can logically comprehend all of these fundamentals and utilize them in real time, like I'm demonstrating here, the being has zero chance of serving love in the long run. Zero. And that means the enemy's got him. That means Satan wins. See, I don't want Satan to win. Why should Satan win? Why should evil carry the day? So I will do whatever the fuck I gotta do to see Satan defeated in my life. I only have control of my sphere of influence. Satan is defeated within my sphere of influence. It's for me to make sure Satan remains defeated. And that's the administration of the defeat. If Christ defeated Satan at Calvary, at the cross, and Satan is the defeated foe, it's for me to administer the defeat of Satan within my own sphere of influence. It's for me to set the boundary and say, no, Satan, you're defeated. Just like when the people got ran out, the people who parked in front of my big rig, after I ran them out, they tried to come back. It's my job to make sure they can't come back. So I've driven out Satan and driven out wicked spirits and wicked influence, and now it's my job to remain ever watchful and vigilant and don't let them come back. That's my job. And I am only able to do that through proper application of these fundamental aspects of a high level spiritual understanding and comprehension. And I'm here to tell you, my ability to break all of this down and explain it to you through my limited human form in the limited means of the language and via the limited, your limited ability to comprehend, I'm able to convey about 10, and then you might comprehend 10% of my ability, whatever I can speak out of my mouth, maybe you can apprehend 10% of it, see? That's why looking externally outside of ourselves can never, ever, ever get us to the promised land metaphorically. It's not possible. The being can only reach the promised land within themselves. It is never possible to first go externally outside of the sphere of influence to connect with something outside of the sphere of influence and then to go to the promised land. That will always lead directly into the hands of the enemy. It cannot lead anywhere else. Now, the enemy has convinced us that if we tap into ourselves within our own spheres of influence, the enemy's got us convinced that, well, what's inside of you is the opposite of powerful. What's inside of you is actually wicked. What's inside of you gives up at the first, at the first obstacle. What's inside of you can't get the job done. So go out of here, go outside of yourself, connect to the herd, get in a big group of people, stand around in a herd, so that when the predator comes, maybe he'll eat one of the other zebras instead of you, right? Maybe he'll eat one of the other wildebeests instead of you. Because there's safety in numbers, right? No! There's no safety in numbers. Numbers are wicked, meaning the herd is wicked. Because the herd is not serving righteousness. The herd is not comprised of 1,000 individuals who are all serving righteousness, who are all serving the most super intelligent force of love possible. So if that's the herd is not doing that, and you seek what's outside of your sphere of influence, and you connect with the herd, by definition, you can't serve creation. You can't serve love. You can't serve the most super intelligent force of love because you've directed your efforts to an area where they can never bear fruit. And you're doing it based on the way the system has programmed you. The system has tricked you. The system has outmaneuvered you. The enemy's outthought you. The enemy's outflanked you. Because the enemy's convinced you that inside of you is something weak. Inside of you is something ugly. Inside of you is something irredeemable. When it's the opposite. What's inside of you is what's inside of me. And it's more powerful than anything any of us could possibly imagine. It's more righteous than anything any of us could possibly imagine. It's more pure and incorruptible than anything any of us could possibly imagine. That's your nature inside of you, I suspect. I can't say for sure because I'm not inside of you, and that's the solipsism, sir. That's the solipsism, sir. Is I can only connect with me inside of me. That's solipsism, which means on a level of practical effectiveness, on the level of spiritual practice, I am the only being that exists in this realm. That is the solipsism. And the realm itself made a term for it and called it solipsism. And anybody who starts looking into philosophy, day one of philosophy is we tell you about solipsism. Now I'm being hyperbolic, but solipsism 101, philosophy 101 is we teach you in the freshman level philosophy course that solipsism is a philosophy. And we tell you all the reasons why it can't possibly be true. We tell you all the reasons why it can't possibly be true. And the wicked flee where none pursueth. Look at how people have left the stream. Why did they leave the stream? Because I called them to the carpet. I pointed the finger. I said, you're not doing the damn thing. I say, you're not doing the damn thing. You let the system run a train on your ass. You let the enemy run right through you. Because you ain't shit. Because if you're not tapped into your power source inside your sphere of influence, you ain't shit. And that's what this system is. This system is so that at the end, when the judgment happens, if it happens, so that the enemy can prosecute you before the Most High, the judge, and say, well, actually, judge, he ain't shit. Meaning he's not redeemable. He's not the wheat. He's the tare. Judge, you're only out here redeeming the wheat. That's what you told us. Or maybe, and now Satan gets to say to the judge, or hey judge, maybe you're not what you told us you were, judge. Now Satan's going to see, the Most High don't have the luxury of letting the tare get put into the wheat pile. Because now Satan gets to say, well actually, judge, maybe you're not what you told us you were. Aren't you the honorable judge? Aren't you the honorable judge? Meaning, hey, I know you like old Benton over there, but you gotta, what's like got to do with it? You got to put him with the tares based on what you say you are, Creator. Do you think the Creator's gonna sacrifice itself for you? Hell no. Hell no. Why would it? Because it can't. Because if it does, it's not what it says it is. Now, what will the system say? The system will say, well, what about mercy? What about mercy? There ain't no mercy for the tares. There ain't no mercy for the tares. if I am what I say I am, I can't never be a tare, no matter what happens. I am the wheat, no matter what. It's not, okay, well, I'm the wheat because I got born into certain circumstances, and then my life was blessed and favored all the way through, and I went to church, and I got married, and I raised my kids, and I treated everybody just good enough. Absolutely not. Because if I'm the wheat even when my family turns its back on me. I'm the wheat even though I wasn't blessed with no children. I'm the wheat even as I spent year after year after year living in the streets with nothing. I'm still the wheat. I'm still the cream. I'm still the cream of the crop. No matter what. Even after my health was stripped away and I almost motherfucking physically died. Well, guess why was my health stripped away? Because I wanted to die. I wanted to die. I wanted to get up out of here. Hell, I still want to get up out of here. Part of me still wants to get up out of here. Guess what? It ain't up to me to decide when that is. That's not my business. That's the Most High's business. See, because I done beat the main game. I'm on the side mission. I've already transcended the limitations I was born into. I already get to declare victory. See? Good for Yippee Skippy, yay for Benton. Can you say the same? Can you say the same? Have you already completed whatever in the hell it was you was sent down here to do? Can you honestly say it with your chest like the kids like to say? Can you put your name on it and stand in righteousness? Say, yeah, well, I've already beat the game. Meaning, what does it mean to beat the game? It means I can already face my maker and say, hey, Judge, hey, Most High, I already completed the specific reason you sent me down here. So, I can't even pretend to know your business and your mind. So here I am, little old me down here, just doing your will to the best of my ability. However long that takes, you know. Now, what do my preferences have to do with it? Nothing. I might prefer different circumstances. I might prefer that this already ended. I might prefer that the moment I overcame the limitations of my birth, it was like a video game, and you know, now it's the end of Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, and now we get to watch the ending. We're not done yet. The game, I guess I got to get to 100% completed. I guess I got to do all these side missions. I thought I could just do the main mission and that was good enough. Apparently not. Apparently not. We got to complete the main mission. The side missions and the main mission. Okay, that's fine. I'm your huckleberry, or your hucklebearer. What does that mean? That means I will carry death on my shoulder. I will physically stand with my brothers and carry out the dead. If that a hucklebearer, then I'm your huckleberry, death. I'm your huckleberry, death. See, life can't die, Scott Severine. If it can die, it's not truly alive. If a thing can die, it was never truly alive. Because what truly lives can never die. What truly lives can never die. And the enemy wants you to believe that it's quite the opposite. The only limitation is the limitation I place upon myself. See, I learned And I was granted wisdom years ago that we all have access, every single one of us has access to all spiritual abilities, and that we limit ourselves. We block ourselves from being able to experience and apprehend and work with all spiritual gifts. Because when a being is imbued with the nature, and the nature of the being is the most super intelligent force of love possible, when the being taps into that force within themselves, they now have access to all spiritual powers and all spiritual gifts. It's all there in that moment. Yes, it is. What can Satan do about that? Not a motherfucking thing. Unless Satan's only power is created when I or others identify with the unless. Satan doesn't have power in this realm unless I do this, that, and the third. Unless you do this, that, and the third. Unless those folks over there do this, that, and the third. See? Satan has no power over my sphere of influence unless I grant it. See? Unless I grant that power. If I revoke Satan's power and evict Satan and his minions and his influence from my sphere of influence, Satan can do absolutely nothing. Evil can't touch me. If wickedness can find no foothold within me, if I've beaten the game. That is the matrix. See, now I'm Neo, and I'm seeing the code. I see the matrix of the code, because that's Satan's matrix. That's evil's matrix. It's not God's matrix. It's not the Most High's matrix. It's not love's matrix. Would love ever create a matrix? And would love ever create a government? And would love ever create capitalism? Would love ever create a corporate structure? Would love ever create this world we live in and then birth you into it? Is that love that would do that? Is love capable of that? Now, love's apparently capable of offering itself up to the attacks of the enemy, if the book of Job is to be believed, right? But so this is where people blame the Most High, and they're wrong. So what people want to do is they want to say, hey, why did God do this to me? Why did the Most High do this to me? It didn't. Love didn't do this. Wickedness did this. Evil did this. Destruction did this. Now, can evil create a matrix? Yes, but only through the subversion of our love, our creation, our creative force. Only through subverting that into us individually serving wickedness. Yes, wickedness. That's the only way it happens. That's the only way it's possible. Because love can't create this. Only through the influence via humans, right? Via humans. Only by that means and mechanism. Ultimately, it's our choice collectively And then individually, I have no choice but to live in this world while I'm here based on the behavior of other people, see. Other people and how they behave collectively, that creates the circumstances moment by moment. That perpetuates the system moment by moment that I and the rest of you find yourself enmeshed in, see. That's what this is. That's the nature of what this is. And until the being comprehends and is able to come to... Now, see, that's the thing is, I've created a being that is able to come to those conclusions myself, within myself, see. I don't need to be told that. That is what's happening here. And when I tap into myself within my own sphere of influence, I'm able to come to those conclusions myself. Why is that? Because now we're speaking philosophically, and correct philosophy is the absence of incorrect philosophy. So if strategically I have operated in such a manner that I, over time, bit by bit by bit by bit by bit, remove the incorrect philosophies, all that's left is correct philosophy. By definition. By definition. So by definition, that's all I have. So I don't need anybody to tell me about all this. I'm not dependent on anybody. See, when I tap into the most super intelligent force of love within myself, all dependency falls by the wayside. I need nothing. I want for nothing. And that's what the Bible means when it talks about, you know, the Lord's Prayer and the birds of the air, you know, they neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns. That's what it's talking about. That's what it's talking about. Saying when everything else is stripped away, that's all that's left. See, I can't fear that I might not eat today. I can't fear that I might not have $10 in my pocket. Not if I'm aligned with my true nature within me. It's not possible. I can't fear that. I can't fear that. And then it's trust. Do I trust that if I align myself with the most super intelligent force of love possible, that I will be treated in accordance with what's loving and righteous, which would include being fed, whether that's physically or whether that's spiritually or in any form, see. And I do. And guess what? If I live these truths that I know to be truth, and I starve to death, all the better. All the better. I'll just go to even greater spiritual heights through the fasting. I'll just ascend further within myself. So what might seem like a limitation, a lack of food, alchemy. It'll alchemize, and the being will actually reach a higher form. See, this is to stand in victory. This is to be beyond the possibility of defeat, what I'm describing. Beyond defeat. Beyond defeat. And I hope old Yurt listens to this, because this is the defeat of his intellect. Because he can never win through his intellect alone. And the being that is defeating his assertions in real time is doing it with the mind and the body and the spirit. Because the being is always limited at their lowest attainment physically, mind, body, and spirit. The limiting force is the lowest level of attainment for the being. Which is why I've absolutely met multiple meth heads who've had all sorts of spiritual, right? They have all sorts of meth heads. They have all sorts of spiritual experiences. but their body limits them, right? And their mind, they're limited by all three, actually, by virtue of abusing those drugs, see? By virtue of abusing all those drugs. So again, back to the practice. Back to the practice. Anyway, I got to get in here. I'm going to end this now. Thanks for watching. Bye.